Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Want to talk about why Joe Biden's gun control speech on June 2nd, 2022 was 17 minutes long and why he made so many references to the number 17 in the speech if you listen to it, including how Uvalde's going to be mourning for 17 more days, and he told the story of how the Uvalde shooter tried to get an assault rifle at age 17 before he turned 18 and could finally get one, and how he brought up Stoneman Douglas and the 17 dead and 17 injured, and so on. It's not an accident that he continued to reference 17 in the Masonic city where modern Freemasonry was established in 1717 by the Jesuit order. It's also not an accident that the Celtics, who have 17 championships, the first team to reach that mark before LeBron did it in his 17th season with the Lakers. But it's not an accident that on the same day, the Celtics, who looked like they'd lost the game versus the Warriors, scored 17 unanswered points at the end of the fourth quarter to pick up their 17th all-time win versus the Warriors in the playoffs. And again, on the 153rd day of the year, June 2nd, where 153 is the 17th triangular number, which means if you add 1 through 17 together, it equals 153. And of course, as we know, that's the NBA number. Remember when LeBron joined the Lakers, he joined them on 1/7 on a $153 million contract coming from Ohio, the 17th state in order of statehood. And we said that day, just watch, in LeBron's 17th season, he'll win the Lakers their 17th championship in the rigged NBA, where 17 is so often the number in the ritual. And again, as I continue to prove to you, sports, politics, it's all scripted every single day, and it's all based in numbers. Because, again, the Masons who are in D.C., pretty much all the American sports, baseball, football, basketball, they're all credited to Masons. Again, what's etched all over the Masonic temples is the Pythagoras quote, all is number. Secret societies are very much about numbers because numbers are very important in Kabbalah, and Kabbalah is where the practice of numbers and words and dates comes together. So that term, the Cabal, this is what it looks like when you understand the language they're speaking in. And again, Joe Biden gives his 17-minute address, uses the number 17 several times. If you get to right around the 8-minute mark, he has a whole bunch of 17s between the 8-minute and 9-minute mark, and then he closes out at the end, talking about 17 more days of grieving in Uvalde. And then he closes out by talking about the Catholic Church again. And who's running the show? The Jesuits who serve the Catholic Church. But again, June 2nd, the 153rd day of the year, the 17th triangular number. And if you are new here, Gematria, very simple practice. It's based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. And also Z is 1, back to A is 26. And then those two orders with numerology. So the values of Jesuit order are 144, 54, 153, 72. Remember, Joe Biden's Jesuit educated, just like Trump, just like pretty much everyone in D.C. President Biden equals 144 and 72, as does Jesuit order. And remember, they simulated the election at Jesuit Georgetown, June 12th, 2020, 144 days before the election, that Biden would win. He'd refuse to step down, and it would lead to deadly violence in the streets of America, which is what happened at the staged Capitol insurrection of January 6th. Just like they simulated it, Jesuit Georgetown. And remember, the Georgetown neighborhood boarded up before anyone else did before January 6th, because again, they had this whole thing planned out. We're living out planned out numerical rituals by the same old code again and again. Uvalde happened on the 144th day of the year, the shooting that he referenced the most. The shooting in Buffalo that he referenced the second most happened 144 days after the death of Peter Canisius, which matters because Canisius is the Jesuit school that's just 3/4 of a mile down the road from the Tops. And again, he was in Texas on the anniversary of JFK's birthday. He was killed 144 days after meeting with the Pope, and not to mention JFK and Dealey Plaza equal 54. With regards to Georgetown, it was established by John Carroll when he was 54 years old. John Carroll equals 54 in the same cipher as Jesuit order. The Jesuits were credited in Paris, which equals 72 on a 72 date numerology. All of these numbers are so important to the Jesuits. President Trump equals 72 like President Biden. He was on the 144th day of the year shaking hands with the first Jesuit Pope Francis at the Vatican. His brother died on August 15th, the Jesuit birthday in 2020. Again, these guys are all Jesuits. You follow the numbers, you follow the dates, you'll see what club they belong to. And again, it's a two-party divide and conquer system. That's all it is. If everyone's blaming Joe Biden for inflation, well, you don't know anything about economics. Again, it's all a manipulation. The market's completely fake. There should have been record inflation right after Trump signed off on the $6 trillion stimulus with all the money printing. Record stimulus, record inflation. It should have happened bang, bang. Gas prices going up. I told you all that was going to happen. Why we'd also have Joe Biden number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, and how Green New Deal equaled 113 like the date of the election. All this stuff is planned out. We're living out Agenda 21, 2030. These puppets in office that go up there and read the script, they don't have anything to do with what's going on. It's the, Jesuit hierarchy that governs from the shadows that's manipulating everything. And then they leave people thinking it's these puppet politicians who are making the difference. They're just reading from the teleprompter. Could be you up there reading from the teleprompter. The same thing would be going on. People would be hating you instead of Joe Biden or Donald Trump or whatever latest stooge they got up there. But anyway, this is the code, these are the numbers, and this is why on the 153rd day of the year, they're trying to make a major political move. Again, the Jesuits have been kicked out of countless countries for trying to have too much political influence. And again, for all the people out there that blame Israel for everything, are we on a Jewish calendar, you guys? No, we're on a Gregorian calendar named after a Catholic pope. Anyhow, he was speaking in Cross Hall, which has the Gematria 107-like shooting. The headline everywhere that everyone quoted is, how much more carnage are we willing to accept, which equals 187, the homicide code. Number that they code all the time into mass shootings. Keep in mind, Society of Jesus equals 187, so does George Washington, so does Washington, D.C., and the list goes on. And, again, references to 17 over and over. Thank you to F for those timestamps in the speech, his 17-minute speech. And they also said that he had 56 lighted candles for the speech last night. The 56 candles were in tribute to the 50 states and 6 U.S. territories. Remember, 56 signers on the Declaration of Independence. John Hancock dead at 56. But of course, in Gematria, Society of Jesus, Washington, D.C., All-Seeing Eye, Mind Control, they're all 56. And remember, Sandy Hook, which he brought up, school was established in 56. The shooting was 56 years later. Adam Peter Lanza is 56. The Buffalo shooting, that store was open on O.J. Simpson's 56th birthday, and the shooting came 56 days before his upcoming birthday. Of course, O.J. played for the Bills. That community fell apart after the Bills left the town. Their stadium used to be just blocks down the street from the store. The O.J. Simpson trial on 10-3, October 3rd. 10 dead, 3 injured right before the 103rd NFL season. Again, if you've missed all my work on Buffalo, we were there for a week. Lots of content on Buffalo. The Uvalde shooting comes just before the 56-year anniversary of the Texas Tower sniper. But again, these same numbers used over and over and over and over and over and over in all kinds of rituals, and especially with regards to the whole pandemic. Coronavirus 56, COVID vaccine 56, a million 56 rituals with COVID. Gavin Newsom 56, the Jesuit in California who said in 8 weeks, 56% of California will have coronavirus. 8 weeks is 56 days. The 56th Jesuit-educated governor, Cuomo of New York, who was the face of the pandemic. The fact that the pandemic was declared in 2020, 56 years after Trump's Jesuit education began in 64. So, again, learn the numbers, see through the rituals. And then with regards to Biden closing out his speech last night, talking about the Catholic Church and the Catholic service down in Uvalde, what happens right after the speech? You get a church shooting in the heart of the country in Iowa. Shout out to RPM Trey Vietnam in Iowa. But you get a 3 dead at a Cornerstone church. Remember, when you spell out 3, it equals 56. When you spell out light, it equals 56. In Genesis 1:3, the 3rd verse of the Bible, God makes light. Abrahamic equals 56. The Abrahamic religion's based in the Torah, which begins with Genesis. There's 3 Abrahamic religions. So, Again, just with the most simple cipher, in case you're new here. Just the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order. We'll write it out. Abrahamic 56, light 56, 356, right? So you have 3 dead after Biden has 56 candles, and he closes out with the church, and then you have a church shooting right after. Now notice, in the base ciphers, if you write out cornerstone, it's also 56 in that most pure cipher. It's a cornerstone church. And you see the 146, 151. Notice also the 61. Jesus Christ got the 146, 151. Jesus has the 61, like church, like cross, and then again, Society of Jesus is 56. So you have all the Jesus numbers in cornerstone, and it's the Society of Jesus. Excuse me, my voice, man. I can't get it back since I went to Buffalo. But anyway, you got the 3 dead at the church after the shooting, where he closes out with the church on the 153rd day of the year. 153, a biblical number. Jesuit order equals 153. Holy Bible equals 153. The Illuminati equals 153, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. Ames, Iowa has the gematria 25 and 38, like death. Biden has the 25. Ames, Iowa also has the gematria 49, like Washington, like America, like gun control. And we just talked about cornerstone. And, this morning they gave us updated detail. Yesterday I noticed that the governor of Iowa, Kim Reynolds, the shooting was on her 303rd day of her age, 303, like 33, where federal order, secrecy, masonry, police, they're all 33 in the most pure cipher. And then today they give the updated detail that the shooter was 33 years old. Just the same numbers over and over. Order, secrecy, masonry, police, federal, false flag, they're all 33. False flag, federal, police, masonry, secrecy, order. Let me zoom it in. All these words, 33. So on the 303rd day of the governor's age. And then here's the latest detail. The shooting at the Cornerstone Church was the result of a domestic situation between the shooter, a 33-year-old man from the city of Boone, and one of the women, said Story County Sheriff Paul Fitzgerald. The women were 22 and 21. So we don't have the man's name, but he's from the city of Boone. And you can see if that factors into the ritual. But again, just the fact that he's 33 again. Boone's got the gematria 51 like federal, 84 and 21 like Jesuit. Again, federal 51, Jesuit 84, 21. Boone, Iowa. 144 like Jesuit order, of course, to go with President Biden. So, yeah, again, there was a goon yesterday. He was telling his audience that I'm a Mossad agent trying to lead people away from the fact that Israel's behind all of these attacks. And I briefly went on his live stream. I'm not even going to promote it, but I just asked him. I said, okay. I said, you know this, because he's another Christian man, right? So we always know we're getting into the high intelligence department when we work with the religious. You notice all the religious retards that hide their face on YouTube, they all say everything's the Jews. They're all Christians. You don't know their face or their name, and they blame everything on Jews. But I asked him, I said, okay, Biden's giving his gun control speech on the 153rd day of the year. He's Jesuit educated. Now, is 153 an important number to Judaism or Christianity? And he's like, I'm not going to answer that. And I said, well, again, we're on a Catholic calendar, not a Jewish calendar, and we're on the 153rd day of the year, and we're having this major ritual. So does this look like a Jewish or a Catholic Christian operation? He's like, I'm not going to answer that. And again, that's what's wrong with religious people. They're caught up in their beliefs, they won't acknowledge facts, and they'll keep blaming false parties for what's going on in the nation. The Jesuits are Catholic and Jewish, make no mistake about it. They're Catholic-Jewish alliance is what the Jesuit order is. Always has been from the 16th century. That's why they brought Jewish mysticism into the practice, this whole letters and numbers thing. But it's not fair to just blame Jews and blame a nation that was created by the Jesuit order. It's not an accident that State of Israel equals the Jesuit order and was created in a huge Catholic Jesuit ritual on 14/5 when there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament. But again, you'll notice the same thing throughout this truth community. They believe in the bullshit Bible, which is a load of shit, Yeah, there is truth and wisdom in there, but still, religion is a steaming load of shit at the end of the day that brings nothing but, cognitive dissonance, stunted growth, ignorance, hate for other people. I mean, this is what religion's doing for the world. It's not helping us out. If you just saw me on the streets of Buffalo, the worst interactions were with religious people. No, all we need to do now is pray to Jesus and mourn. Oh, okay. That's all we need to do now is pray to Jesus and mourn, because that's going to solve anything. Yeah, let's keep praying to Jesus and mourning. Like that's going to do anything to stop what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, which almost no one in this nation does know what's going on because their head's so far up their ass, believing all the authorities that have been lying to them their whole life. Again, this is the problem. People need to figure out what's really going on. Stop wasting their time voting in rigged selections. Stop wasting their time with rigged sports. Spend more time reading, getting informed, learning real history, and about how the agendas are really waged, and by the code that they are, that you can see through every single day. I mean, you got to be kidding me. On the 153rd day of the year, a 17-minute speech where he keeps saying 17 over and over. Like we haven't talked about this pattern of 153 and 17 a million times, especially with the NBA. And then it's happening in the NBA right after you finish your Biden speech. The Warriors just forget how to play basketball, allow the Celtics to go on a 17-0 run and pick up their 17th win against the Warriors all time in the playoffs. Same stuff over and over, rinse and repeat. It'll be the same thing next year on the same day. And and again, just to listen to this guy talk about like he cares about kids, he doesn't even care about his own kids. He sacrificed his wife and daughter in 72 in a clear ritual right after he became senator-elect, and he sacrificed Beau Biden at age 46 in a clear ritual for him to become the rigged number 46th president. And this guy wants to get up here and tell you about how much he cares about kids when he sacrifices his own children and his family? And you know what? I'm not going to say anymore that, I've never claimed to know that for sure what happened at Sandy Hook, but I'm not going to say that nobody died at Sandy Hook. For all you know, that's a CIA town, and they sacrificed all their own children for a Saturnalia ritual, just like we were talking about yesterday with Noah Posner's mother. I just remember all day they showed you the 3 men in fatigues running out the back of the school. Then all of a sudden it was a bad Photoshop of some kid named Adam Lanza. But, if you missed yesterday's video on Noah Posner's mother, of course, Noah Posner's father, Lenny Posner, hates the First Amendment, and Mom hates the Second Amendment. And funny, those are the 2 amendments that are here to protect us from tyranny. And if people can't see the tyranny that's taken over the nation, that's made you a guinea pig for Big Pharma, again, you're right where they want you. Probably saying things like, I don't listen to conspiracy theories. Calling everything a conspiracy theory when it's conspiracy fact as you listen to the people who've lied to you every single day. Just fed you loads of shit your whole life, but you're still listening to that. Somebody points out what's wrong with it, and you just dismiss it as a conspiracy theory. Anyhow, if you missed yesterday's video on Veronique De La Rosa, you probably want to check that one out. We'll see if it stays up. They like to take down the truth for all kinds of things like hate speech and whatever other false labels they can throw on it. So, anyhow, we'll leave it there for now. And shout out to Jonathan. Jonathan's in town. I got to meet Jonathan last night. He's working out here in Washington State. He wants to pound some pavement on the corner here in Yakima. He's doing his work in Washington State right now. So you'll probably see me and Jonathan on the corner getting out the message about current events in the near future. Maybe not today, though. We've had a real nice week, but today the rain came in, so anyhow, that'll probably happen soon. All right, we'll leave it there for now, and until next time, Truth Seeker.